What's the richest thing someone has done in front of you? So one of my bullet jobs in college was doing door-to-door pamphlet bombing and collecting donations for environmental initiatives in the SF Bay Area. Normally, it's all volunteer stuff. But this time they were hiring people as it was an election year. Normally, it's a goal of $30.50 per day for each person. This girl, who had done this for a year, partnered with me and she was just such a nice girl, but no one was donating despite her charm. I did a few and fared no better. Finally, I knocked on a door and a dude comes out. I do the script kind of half-assed mainly because I was impressed by his sound system in his living room that I had peaked. He showed it off to us, offered us a drink and went off to get his checkbook. He comes back with his wife and she was like, "Oh, let me get my checkbook too." The guy asked us what we normally get per week for this and the girl I was with told him on a good week around $200, $250. The guy makes a face and was like, "Nah, that can't be right," and hands us a check for $5,000. Then his wife shows up and was like, "You did 5? I'll do 6," and gave us another check but for $6,000. We were speechless and my partner started to cry. The guy also asked us to give him a call by the end of the week so he can follow up with our efforts. I found out later that he was a retired music producer who was super loaded but lived in a normal looking house outside of Oakland. Crazy stuff. Edit. For our efforts, the campaign got us a fancy dinner and a small bonus from the foundation. We went to this fancy restaurant after my child's baptism. The godfather asks for the wine list. The waiter brings it. The godfather rolls his eyes and hands it back. The real wine list. Please, the waiter obviously knew what he meant, like this was a regular thing with high rollers, and comes back with the real wine list. We drank good, expensive wine that day. Godfather's treat. Buy a brand new $60,000 BMW without hesitation. He was a Saudi dude I was tutoring in English and he needed a car. So he just bought one with the same attitude that one would have when buying a gas station sandwich. People with that kind of money are just living in another reality. A rich woman had a flat tire and didn't know how to fix it. So I pull over to help her. When I was done we got talking and whoops, she so happened to drop her wallet and it landed at my feet. She said, "Keep it." I felt so bad, I said, "No, I can't." She insisted. See, I get home and in the wallet, $987 was in there with ungodly amounts of change. This was last month as well. That $987 paid off one of my college loans. I will be honest, I cried a little because of this person. I saw someone crash a Lamborghini and 10 minutes later a driver showed up with a Ferrari and buddy drove off while his driver waited for the tow truck. How rich do you have to be to have someone on call to bring you a new luxury car when you're in an accident? I worked on a 124 feet yacht and went to look, and another yacht he was interested in buying that was stored and owned by the shipyard. The broker was being a real dick, so we just walked off, but he really wanted this classic, and he called the yard owner. After not getting much help, he calls his legal team, tells them to buy the whole ducking yard and X200B. 2 weeks later and he and his team took possession of the yard. His new yacht, Trumpy, and several others. Told me to come with him for the management meeting and fired the duck out of the broker and X200B. I got my first real captain's job out of the deal. Delivered a pizza to a hotel. Dude was super drunk and had a bottle of expensive scotch almost finished. Bribed me like $20 every 10 minutes to keep talking to him by literally throwing money onto a chair every few minutes. Let me try to his 15k Rolex and offered me the keys to his classic car for free. Dude was boasting the whole time about owning an oil company too. Turns out he wasn't lying when I looked him up. Still didn't want to risk a millionaire sending lawyers after me when he sobers up and realizes he gave away his car while drunk. I remember once in the 1990s. I was at a gay bar in Manhattan and there was an ATM machine inside. The dude in front of me got some money. Took the receipt. Didn't look at it. Crumbled it up. And tossed it on the floor. When he left, I picked it up and looked at it because I'm nosy. The available balance, in a ducking checking account, mind you, was $17 million. If the guy wasn't so old and ugly, I might have started flirting. Opened their safe with $350,000 cash inside. Was in a small size little bar for breakfast in SF. In comes a guy who orders the same as I did, pancakes with coffee. We finish around the same time and I leave my regular 15% tip. Service and the food wasn't special. But whatever. I'm a European and I know it's their salary basically. But this other guy starts counting his $100 bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He smiles. Shuffles them together. Puts his empty cup on top and leaves. His bill was about $20 or something. He paid $1,000. I mean, I just stayed to witness the reaction from the waitress. She was so happy with this guy leaving an almost $200 tip. I kid. I did not touch her money. She was deliriously happy and started jumping up and down as her colleagues came in wondering what was going on. When I worked as a computer tech, I went out to a house call. I arrived and realized it should have been called an estate call. The place was senselessly large. I go to this guy's office to look at his computer and I needed a pen for something. He opened his desk drawer and asks me if guns made me uncomfortable because he had one in that same drawer. I respond that I think guns are cool. Mild exaggeration. He proceeds to take me to his gun safe. I'd like this 9x9x9 bank vault. So many guns, it was insane. I was obviously impressed. He said, "Oh, you like this stuff? Check out my gun room." I tag along, more curious than interested. Then I see a room that dwarfs any other I've seen in a residential building. There were guns like you wouldn't believe. 50 calorie mounted machine guns. Small cannons. Like every small arm from the Civil War to modern time. Even as a gun novice, I knew enough to be impressed. It was crazy. A long time ago, I worked at a security at a casino. I remember once watching a man bet $15k, $3 5k chips, a hand at blackjack and lose literally every hand without any reaction whatsoever. He probably lost $60k in the 5 minutes I sat watching him. Also, there used to be an elderly guy who would come in and have the entire section of the high roller slot machines reserved for himself. He'd spend 10 or 12 hours going down each row pulling handles at between $100 and $500 a spin. He would usually give advance notice that he was coming and there would be servers and attendants specifically assigned to him while he was there. Place a $5 million bet on a single hand of baccarat. Proceed to lose. And not even bat an eye. She had a wiring problem in her $500,000 RV. Her words were, "What a piece of junk. It has solid marble floors and is 5 times nicer than any house I've ever lived in." Turned on their kitchen floor. It was a little cold. So they turned on their heated kitchen floor. I know it's not like buying a new house on whim money or replacing a crashed Lambo money. They probably aren't even all that expensive to install. But it was a random luxury I'd never even known existed. That was my first glimpse into the other reality the wealthy live in.